Hello and welcome to the MHG podcast. Look, sometimes you've got a cough and it's miserable outside and dark and dank. So you need some strepsils or you need some kind of remedy, cold and flu remedy to bring the light and bring the joy. So that's what we're here for. I'm Nicole Bradley, hosting the podcast once again, and I'm joined by the Lemsip flavoured delight of a drink, Stu. How you doing, Stu?
I'm pretty good. I don't feel ill at all, which is nice. And so, in the MHG Hunger Games, I think I've got a head. I've got a head start, and hopefully, I can eliminate you quite quickly. And
I'll eliminate myself. I'll jump straight into the poison mist. Look, I'm just going to put it out there to make it easier for Stu because we're a day late recording this anyway. And it's a big weekend, so I don't want to take up Stu's big weekend because it's the coronation and Stu's really excited for it.
Oh, yeah, I've got all the bunting, I've got my Union Jack flags. It looks like a Nazi rally here, basically. Yeah, it's great.
Pretty much. But it's I've got a cough. I'm going to be coughing throughout. Apologies if anyone's sensitive to it, but I can't ask Stu to try and edit all this out. I'm going to be all over the place. So apologies ahead of time. There you go, Stu. I've hopefully saved you about 5 hours worth of trying to get rid of my cough.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. Yeah, so sod you, listeners, sod you, because he's ill, so put up with it. No, I'm only joking.
It's either that or no podcast, and we know how much you all need to listen to me.
That's it. And we're late because of me, me because of work. So, yeah, it's ultimately my fault. So I think, pushing Brad into the poison mists is the next step.
Definitely. What was I going to say? Yeah, you think I talk less with a cough and a cold and a sore throat and everything, but that don't work like that.
Nah.
I talk more. But anyway, it is the King's coronation this weekend, apparently. What are you doing for it, Stu?
Well, as I say, apart from all the flag waving, flag shagging,
Hitler Youth in it, and
worship, making sure that I do that Pledge of Allegiance, all of those things, are absolutely going to be doing. And
how'd you do that? Is that if you got to go somewhere to do that, or is it like you just do it on your own? Is like official or what? I mean, I'm not doing it.
Well, I think what they intend you to do is to do it into any microphones that may be hidden around your house. Maybe they're definitely hidden around your house. So anything that's embedded in the TVs that the government send out and things like that. Just speak directly. Get about a foot away from your telly when the coronation's going on, and talk directly at your telly. Make sure you pledge allegiance so that they know that you're a good citizen. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. No, that's not happening. That's a Black Mirror episode waiting to happen, isn't it? Though
the whole thing, everything that we're living in right now,
is a Black Mirror episode.
Yeah.
I mean, we've literally had Black Mirror happen. Like Charlie Brooker is a prophet. We've said this before. He prophesies everything, and it all comes to fruition. The fuckery over the monarchy. Ah, dear. We're watching films and playing games, and same shit we did when the Queen died.
Yes, we're going to be going down to the area around where our new place is, our new house we'll be moving into, and just having a walk around and
just letting all the neighbours know that you're anti-monarchy.
Yeah, I'll be wearing a Not My King t-shirt and getting in with the neighbours.
Yeah, do it. We've got a free weekend. We're not travelling the country for Liverpool women or anything like that, but then we've got 2 weekends of it. So because we was only doing one more as a surprise to Edith at the end of the season, but we've got one more away game, and we've done all but one away game so far. So we went, we've got to. So we're going to Aston Villa, not next weekend, the weekend after. Because why not?
Apologies for you having to travel to the Midlands. That's never good. But
they charge you to get into the Midlands now.
I know, blimey.
We nearly got caught out on the way back last time.
Well, apologies to any Midlanders. I'm only kidding. It's a nice area. But what you said was like, we're not going around the country for Liverpool women. It's just like out of context and not knowing you're talking about football. That sounds a little bit dodgy.
It does sound like I'm some kind of creeper, doesn't it?
It does, yeah. And that you've also got your partner involved as well, so that a kind of Rose West style, so that she's assisting you. But
so I know one of the players' dads
Right. Well, that's again sounds like a threat.
It does. It does. And one of the players' dads actually follows the podcast and the site.
Oh, right.
So
okay. Hello.
I found that out the other week, and I went, "That's you!" And I won't say their name because it's not fair to do so. But I was like, "That's you." Jesus, I didn't realise. That's really cool. That's my you, mate.
We're not a threat to your daughters, promise.
No, I'm not, but he knows who the threat is, and it's small and ginger and acts like a Tasmanian devil. So, you know. But do you know what else could be small and ginger and act like the Tasmanian devil?
What's that?
Somehow video games, Stu. I don't know how I could segue that one, but hey, somehow we did.
Oh, you could go like, do you know where else the Tasmanian devil appears? In video games.
In that Tasmania video game on the Mega Drive. Yeah.
That was all right. Yeah, it was all right. It wasn't nothing special, but it was all right.
It was back in the day when licensed cartoon video games were good, just good.
Yeah, there was a nice gap. Well, not gap. There was a nice period of time where they were quite a bit exceptional, like that kind of Looney Tunes and the Disney Aladdin era, where they were really good.
That's the peak, isn't it? Aladdin was the peak of it all.
I think so.
Lion King was like the Dark Souls of it all. You had to do that perfect thing over the giraffes' heads, and it was just like, that was hard.
Yeah.
That was so difficult. I got so fed up with that music. I hate it now. But yeah, Aladdin was like the pinnacle. That was the the Uncharted. Lion King was the Dark Souls, and the Mickey Mouse games are really good. Do you remember when Mickey Mouse was an acceptable character and not the front for all evil?
Yeah. Well, he probably already was, but we just didn't know.
We didn't know any better. Castle of Illusion, and all stuff like that. It's brilliant. And Donald Duck appeared, and it was all good.
So the last thing I'll say on that before you move on to your game is the two things I found out about Disney. Well, no, one thing I found out recently and one I've known forever. One is that he was a Nazi, Walt Disney, which is really, 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 really right wing, like totally kind of fascist, which is probably not a surprise to anybody. And secondly, and this is quite interesting, he always had the fact he was smoking a fag airbrushed out of his photos, out of his official photos. And if you look at his photos, he's always got like a V sign, like on his fingers. His fingers are doing a V sign because he was holding a fag. A cigarette, sorry, for our American listeners. So here's...
we cancelled in America now.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I'm not saying that he was closeted gay. I'm saying that he was holding a cigarette that was airbrushed out. It would be funny if he airbrushed out a twink that he was actually with the entire time, and there's just this photo of his arm hanging in midair where he's got it round a gay man's shoulders. That'd be amazing.
Yeah, when we say a twink, we mean a gay man, not a dough filled with cream. It could be a dough filled with cream.
Anyway, Stu, you're really rambling now. So sure. Brad, what have you been playing?
Right, so from talking about one person's cack to another cack. Well, it's called Kaku Ancient Seal. And I can't say it without sounding like I'm in Mork and Mindy, because it's just cuckoo. And I know it was the new, but hey, what are you going to do? I'm the person of strenuous links, so there you go. So what you've got is Kaku Ancient Seal feels very much like a turn-of-the-century 3D adventure platformer mixed with some modern qualities. So imagine, if you will, Banjo-Kazooie, but without Kazooie in it. You kind of got that kind of structure. You're kind of running around collecting things, fighting other things. You've got a pet pig that appears. But it's not as interactive as Kazooie is in Banjo-Kazooie.
I want a pet pig. I want a pet pig now.
It's a flying pet pig as well.
Oh, definitely one of those. Yeah.
So if you ever wanted to know, pigs can fly. There you go.
There's proof.
And it's got a story. It's if you want. I don't care about the story at all. And it's basically like that late 90s, early 2000s, mid 2000s game, and it's good for it and bad for it. It's basically got all the trappings And I can't put my finger on whether I like it because of it or I'm a bit because of it. It's good, but I expected it to feel more modern. But it is modernised in places that make it feel better than those original games. But in other places, it's not, and it doesn't. It's got like upgrade abilities. You can do stuff graphically. In places, it looks really nice, and other places, it looks shoddy. It's such an in between game at the moment. Now it is early access, so I'm not going to go all in on the looks because obviously there's still some polishing to be done. But I don't know where I am with it. I don't know if I like it or don't like it at all. I am literally middle of the road with this game. And honestly, I don't know if I can say to people, do you know what, give it a try for yourself and see what you think, or annoy it, or ignore it. I can't say any of it because it's got something, but I don't know what that something is yet. And I don't know how long it's going to be in early access for. But I think I'm now going to step back and wait for the full release. But this is what I would say is, if you're into your open world adventure collectathons and battling random enemies and stuff like that, stick it on your wish list and see how it comes out. That's about the only thing I can say about it. You don't need to get in on this one at the ground level. It is a wait and see for me. It's got some Zelda-y bits to it as well. That's the weird thing. There's some bits that went, this will work well in a Breath of the Wild or something. It's got those elements to it. This is a bit Souls-like here. It's taken all the right elements and then put it into a Banjo-Kazooie style game in my mind, and it doesn't quite merge yet, but I feel it could do.
Yeah. So 3 things. One, Tears of the Kingdom. I'm not sure, just to set listener expectations, because obviously you really care about our opinions on AAA games. But I'm not sure I'll be buying it as immediately when it comes out. It's going to depend on money. And I know that's a really boring thing to say, but it's just in case people are like, listen to the podcast, hear what they think about Tears of the Kingdom. I might not have it to talk about for a little while. I might do. I don't know. I'll keep you updated. Second thing, with early access, I personally treat them like Kickstarters. So I'm like, I'll put the money in if I think that it's got potential and I want to support that potential, with the understanding that it might turn out to just be rubbish, might be garbage, but I don't mind because I at least supported those people. But what I also do is I wouldn't then, if I was playing it and thought it wasn't great, recommend it to anybody until it was complete. So a good one is that what is now called Pacer, which I never got on with, the Wipeout kind of clone.
Yeah, I can't remember what it was called before, right?
Formula Fusion? Yes. So I backed that on Kickstarter, but I wouldn't recommend, even after it was finished, I wouldn't recommend it to anyone. But that's beside the point. This isn't about that. But no, I would say, so I always say to people, I've played it, I think it's okay, but for you, wait until it's out of early access, kind of thing. That's what I generally kind of do. And the last thing was, how ancient is the seal? Can it still swim? Does it still like fish? How ancient is it?
Well, it's so ancient that it listened to your joke and couldn't even clap like a seal.
Nice.
And I forgot what the seal song is to sort of like go down and make a joke with that. So that's gone now.
Yeah, well, that was good. That was sharp. That was acceptable.
Yeah, okay, that'll do. But yeah, it's a weird game, honestly. It's got loads of different biomes in it as well, and they've almost done bull shots almost for their animated GIFs and stuff like that they've got on their Steam page, because it doesn't translate to the early access build that I'm playing. So whether they've got this is what we're hoping it's going to look like, or they've got a build that's further along with everything thrown in that doesn't work on the early access builds, I don't know. But there's a distinct difference between what I'm looking at and what I'm playing. So I'm intrigued. I will keep an eye on it. I can't recommend it at the moment, but there's something there. There's something. As I said, I can't put my finger on it. add it to your wish list. Keep an eye on it if you like these like open world adventure style games. That's for sure.
Yeah.
And if you're looking for a much cheaper Zelda-y open worldy type thing, they'll probably both be 7 out of 10 games in the long run.
Oh, harsh.
Well, it works for Steph Sterling to mock Zelda. So I thought maybe if we said how bad Zelda will be, or sort of like how middle of the road it'll be, or how it's just a good game and that's it, we might get lots of abuse and people listening to us.
Yeah. We should do some trolling, without a doubt. Yeah.
But anyway, I kind of agree. It's like Breath of the Wild's a brilliant game, but it's not the best thing I've ever played. It's Tetris. And it's honestly, it's a great game if you love that thing. It's just I've still not completed it because I couldn't be bothered, and that's not the sign of a perfect game.
Yeah, well, everyone reacts to these things differently. Yeah, that's fair enough.
And also, I'm tempted to give it a go and play it right now, before it's even out. I could do, but I might not.
I've no idea how it was supposed to run on Steam Deck.
Not great at the moment. But yeah, I'll do what I usually do. I might give it a go, see if I like it, and if I do, I will purchase it on the eShop and play it on the Steam Deck if it runs well. But yeah, it's intriguing. I kind of either hope it's either the best game ever, like literally is the best game ever, or people play it and it turns out to be the biggest lump of turd ever and people just don't know what to say.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we'll definitely get into that when it comes out.
Everyone's going, please, someone say it's bad because it's bad, but I don't want to be the first to say it.
Yeah,
Well, yeah, it's not going to happen.
No. Well, I don't think it could possibly be bad. I think it might not be. It might disappoint some people, but I don't know. I don't think it could probably be bad. I don't think they've made a bad Zelda. Well, obviously there's the CD. What's it called? The CDI one.
Oh,
and the very early Zelda games. But other than that, I think even if you're not a personal fan, I think they've all been pretty good. Apart from maybe some of the Capcom ones.
I would argue that Wii one, I did it, even when I've played it with the modded controls and everything. What was it called? I can't remember what it was called.
Skyward Sword.
Yeah, I didn't get on with it at all.
Fair play. Yeah. Right, well,
but everything else really good. Anyway, Kaku Ancient Seal, sorry. Early access, wishlist it. That's about all I will say about it. It's got something, not sure what it is, not ready yet, wishlist it.
Yeah, and if you're into seals, then definitely get it, yeah, cool.
No, that's the wrong person. I would always love you. That's Whitney Houston, isn't it? No, you just save me what you've been playing in VR.
So, in VR, I've been playing a few things. What's the best thing to start with? Well, I'll talk about playing Vader Immortal. So, I already had the first one, which played on the Oculus Rift. It's a very simple, visually simple game, graphically simple game. So it's playable on the Quest 2 without any adjustment and runs well. So what it is kind of an intro to VR kind of thing. If you've played the Batman VR game, it's kind of in that mould. So it's supposed to introduce you into the world. The fact that it's something that you already know visually is a good kind of stepping stone. So everyone knows Star Wars. Pretty much everyone knows Batman. So going into a brand new disorientating place with those visual signposts is quite a good way of doing it. It's got very limited movement, very limited gameplay, but deliberately so. And yeah, you get to kind of like manipulate objects in the environment from a static position. Movement is teleport based, not full motion control, so people don't get sick. So yeah, it's very much your kind of hand-holdy, here's VR, enjoy kind of experience rather than anything else. So for me, who's had VR for a very long time, that's kind of, that side of it's not necessary, but that's fine. That's not intended for me. But where it really shines, and there's a couple of areas, but the main way it really shines is the writing and the lore. So it's very, very Star Warsy, but not in a parodic kind of we'll just chuck in a load of Star Wars tropes and that will make it, something that people will buy. It actually has some time and thought put into it, and you play a sort of acolyte of Vader. The reason that you're in the mix at all is because you're the only person who can help him find this artifact of power, basically. So typical kind of MacGuffin kind of thing. Which, that is good enough because it allows the introduction of characters who live in the world where that artifact is, and also some good history stuff about like your character's bloodline to give them a bit of backstory. But it also showcases Vader and what he can do, what his attitude is, all that sort of stuff. So he's kind of front and centre whilst you're in first person, and that's really good. You also get to use lightsaber, which is always cool. There's loads of games that have pseudo lightsabers, but using a lightsaber within the actual Star Wars universe is always the kind of better thing to do. And apart from that, they're only about half an hour, 45-minute experiences in chapters, and there are 3 chapters. We've just completed the second one. But it's definitely one I would 100% recommend to you if you've only just started out with VR or you've not played it for a long time. It's one of those that you should definitely own, and at the moment I'm not trying to shill for Facebook, but it's really cheap at the moment in sale. So if you are spending money on VR stuff that's Oculus bound and Oculus based, then it's a good one to go for. So yeah, a good series, very simplistic but good story, well written, very immersive, and definitely worth a go, especially if you're new to VR.
Is it one of those that it has to be VR? Is it built around VR completely? Because I know we're starting to see more games which can be played either or. But it does sound very much it is VR. It
is, yeah. It's 100% VR based. Yeah, can't be played in 2D. Wouldn't make any sense. It's
No, fair enough. Not one I particularly will be interested in then, because it just doesn't work for one-eyed people.
Yeah, fair play.
So me and the pirate in the Goonies are screwed, really. He's dead, so he can't anyway, but there you go.
Well, there is that, yeah. Did the giant octopus get him or whatever?
I don't know how he died, actually.
Yeah.
He was sat at his seat, so... Oh, that's interesting. Wonder how he did die.
Oh, yeah.
If anyone knows, let me know. Because now that's going to bug me. So I think now that's going to... It's like more evidence of my autism and ADHD, because that is now going to bug me completely. Not just it's a little bit for the episode or anything. That's now, that's. I need to find out how One-Eyed Willie died.
Yeah, that's important.
Bloody hell.
Go on. What are you?
Moving on from Willie's, I've been playing Mr. Sun's Hatbox.
Oh, I've seen that. Go on.
Now this is good, like good. Not brilliant, but good. I'm really, really enjoying it. So there's this little bit of base building to it. It's mainly a 2D platformer. And kind of what you do is you go through. It's like you jump on enemies' heads to kill them, or you get weapons to kill them as you go through these levels to achieve these like little mini goals that you have to do. All because you are tracking down someone's hat box that was stolen for them. That's the premise of it. You was delivering a hat box to somebody, it got stolen. They're not bothered about it. They went, it's all right, I'll order another one. But you're like, no, I must deliver this hat box. So you set up this entire base of operations under Mr. Sun's Hatbox shop. You set up this whole base of operations and you upgrade it and you're basically on the warpath to try and get this Hatbox back. That's the premise of the game. And you go through, and when you're doing, you knock enemies out. You can either then kind of, do you know in Metal Gear Solid 5 where you balloon them to your base?
Yes.
I don't know what that's called.
It's called Fulton, the Fulton system.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, you could do that, and then they become like minions in your base, and you can then sort of take their hats or send them out to do things, and different hats have different kind of ability upgrades and little bits like that. Or you could choose just to murder and that's it. And you get the hat box, you come down, you build your base out some more, and you upgrade, you rinse, repeat, do it all again. It's very silly, but it's brilliant for it. I love silly games. I absolutely adore silly games, and this is a silly game that I just, really enjoy just dipping in and out of every other day. Nice. So, yeah, it's just good. And you can play it co-op, but I've only played it single player. It's brilliant in single player. Apparently, it's really, really good in co-op. I will invite you along at some point. You will get this. It's got Steam Remote Play together, so you don't even need to buy it.
Oh, lovely. Nice. They're my favourite words. You don't even need to buy it. Yeah, my favourite sentence in the world.
But yeah, it's good. It's, 12 quid-ish. Yeah. That's impulse territory for what you're getting here for me, personally.
Nice.
Absolutely think it's brilliant, and it's one of my surprises of the year. But there's not much to say because it's not deep. It's not a deep game with loads and loads that you've got to really talk about. It's just stupid fun. And God bless games that are stupid fun.
Oh, completely. They're so necessary. Yeah. Excellent.
So, yeah, that's all I'm going to say. Go and buy Mr. Sun's hat box. Do it. Do it now.
Sweet.
What's next, Stu?
Well, I've been once more dipping into the ancient past of the Jedi, and what I've been playing is a total VR conversion of Jedi Outcast in VR.
Oh, which one's that?
So is it Jedi Outcast? See the old man senior moment now. I'm pretty sure it is. But yeah, no. So there was Dark Forces, and then there was Dark Forces 2 Jedi Summit. Hang on, let me look. Let me check my notes.
Oh wait, is it Jedi Knight 2?
Jedi Knight, that's
Jedi
right.
Outcast.
That's it. And then Jedi Knight, they dropped the Dark Forces bit, called it Star Wars Jedi Knight 2 Jedi thingy.
GameCube?
Did it come out? It did. It did come out on the GameCube.
Right, that's where I remember it from. There's about 5,000 different versions of Star Wars with similar names on GameCube. So, right, we're good. God, you carry on.
Oh, no, that's
it's
fine.
Brilliant. It's brilliant.
Yeah.
The original game is brilliant.
That's right. So, yeah, it went Star Wars Dark Forces, Star Wars Jedi Knight Dark Forces 2, Star Wars Jedi Knight 2 Jedi Outcast, and then Star Wars Jedi Knight Jedi Academy, which was Jedi Outcast 2. Yeah, nice.
Yeah, if
nice
you thought Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare 2 was a confusing name, but you haven't played the Star Wars Jedi Knight series.
Correct. So yeah, I'm pretty confident they went for this one because it's the best of the series. Well, the best of the 3D series, at least in that kind of vein. And yeah, so what you do is you just download and sideload a conversion pack kind of thing. You get your original files from your copy of Jedi Outcast, which I had, because what I recommend for anyone, even if obviously I know money is always a factor, but every now and again there are sales of old LucasArts Star Wars games, and they sell them for
it's £2.51 on Steam.
And, yeah, exactly. And occasionally they're even cheaper than that. It's like they go for peanuts, and they sometimes do bundles of like the entire thing for a tenner with everything in it. And if you spot those, definitely buy them, because there's so many games in those packs that are worth a play even today. And this one, so you just stick your original files in and you use a launcher that hooks them together and off you go. And yeah, it's basically Jedi Outcast in VR. And they've also, because it's got this launcher thing, it's got all the VR comforts that you'd expect, so it operates properly as a VR game and not just like a shoehorned in one. So, you've got all the correct movement options and comfort and non-puke options in there, and the way that menus appear and how the HUD is presented are all correct. Yeah.
So there's a moment in Jedi Outcast that I think I remember where you kind of bring up these. It's not like a binoculars thing, but you bring up this visor that's got a UI on it that allows you to zoom in and stuff. Please tell me they've nailed that in VR.
Oh, I've not got to that yet, so I don't know, but I will report back, I promise.
Okay.
Yeah, I did get the the what they called the night vision visor.
Yeah,
But I couldn't find out how to operate it, how to bring it up. Options.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah. Well, I'll have a look and I'll report back on that, definitely. Yes. Yeah. So it's not, obviously, so that's where I was going next, really. It's not perfect. These things are never going to be perfect because they are conversions by fans. But by and large, it's really good. And there's very, very little jank involved. Switching weapons is easy. The controls are mapped nicely, so you don't have to keep going into the options and going order like that. And yeah, I've not even got up to the bit where you have a laser sword yet, so I haven't even done the proper Jedi stuff. But shooting the guns is great. It works as you'd expect in VR. Really good. It's a very, very impressive little piece of side-loaded technology.
Yeah, I love fan mods and stuff like that just bring new life into old games like this, and especially when they're great games.
Yeah.
Now I want to go and have a look, see if I can mod the original with like HD graphics and stuff like that. I think like fan conversions.
Yeah.
Not the shitty official versions.
Yeah, well, you can definitely with Jedi Outcast. There's even in the launcher, there's an option to download mods, and there's also a separate menu with an option to download expansion packs, both the official ones and fan made. So it's like really fully featured, very, very impressive stuff. It's great.
I'm gonna have to get on that at some point. I'm not a big Star Wars fan, but there's some of the Star Wars games I love.
Yeah, well, that was the genius of the LucasArts era, wasn't it? That they were fundamentally good games, and the Star Wars part of it just elevated them. But it wasn't vital. It's for if you didn't like Star Wars or you had no affinity with Star Wars, it wasn't like, oh well, I'm excluded then. Not at all. It was like, it'll just work for you as a great game. But if you like Star Wars...
And everyone loves a lightsaber. You can't not love a lightsaber.
Precisely. So it's good stuff.
Oh, no, little bit of information. I've been playing not Jedi Survivor, the first one, whatever it's called. Jedi Outcast?
Fallen Order? Fallen
Order.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's the first one.
Yes. Been playing that. And I was like, this guy looks familiar. The main character looks familiar. I didn't realise he plays he plays Ian in the American version of Shameless.
Oh, right. He must have been a little kid, was he? That's been going for years.
No.
Oh, wow.
Like, in his teens. I think he's like in his late 30s now or something.
No, is he?
Yeah.
Good Lord.
He looks young.
Yeah, I thought he was like 24 or something.
No, obviously the digital version in Star Wars, they can do what they want with his face. But yeah.
Wow.
But that's him. He's in that, and he's in a few other bits as well. Apparently, he's quite a fairly well respected actor.
Excellent. Well, he's good in that game. I thought he was.
Yes, I think that's one of the things that makes that work is the acting in it's pretty decent.
Yeah, all of the acting is good in that. I liked all of the characters, especially the whatever she was, the Night Sister. Is it?
Yes.
Yeah, I thought she was excellent as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's good. But yeah, Star Wars Jedi Outcast is probably the best non-spacey shooty Star Wars game I've ever played.
Oh.
I really like the GameCube spacey shooty ones. I can't remember what they were called. No, this is...
What, the Rogue
really
Squadron games?
The Rogue Squadron ones, yeah, I love them. They are my favourite all-time Star Wars games.
Yeah, no.
Apart from Pod Racer in the actual arcades, where you actually got to sit in an actual pod with the proper pod controls.
With the yoke, yeah.
Yeah, but you can't recreate that at home properly, so it's kind of its own thing.
Yes, yeah. Another shout-out to the bespoke arcade controllers, definitely, yeah.
But anyway, moving on from Star Wars, otherwise, because I'm not even a big fan of Star Wars, so I don't want to spend too long chatting about it.
Well, it was May the 4th yesterday, so, that's Star Wars Day.
Something about the Sith today, in it, or whatever, I don't know.
May the 6th, that should be tomorrow. Yeah, May the 6th.
I don't know. Anyway, something I've definitely not been playing is definitely not a game about drugs. Definitely not some kind of management system. Definitely not some kind of early access simulation type game. It's definitely not fried chicken.
Is that what it's called? It's definitely not fried
It's called
chicken.
Definitely Not Fried Chicken.
Definitely not
Yeah.
fried chicken. Okay, go on. I'm intrigued.
Did have you seen Breaking Bad?
God, yes, it's amazing.
Right. When you sat there watching Breaking Bad and you went, do you know what would be really good? A Breaking Bad game? Possibly. You might not have.
No, really, no.
Just humour me. I go, oh, yeah, definitely. I always thought a Breaking Bad game would be good, Brad.
I always thought a Breaking Bad game would be good, Brad.
Yeah. Did you ever think that the bit you would want to do is playing the part of Frigg and setting up a chicken shop to distribute drugs?
No, I definitely didn't think that.
Well, if you did think that, then your dreams have all come true. Because that's what Definitely Not Fried Chicken is. It's a business management game. You set up a business front and you use it to basically become a crime lord and peddle drugs. Wow. So it's chicken in the front, drugs in the back, essentially. Nice. And it's good.
Yeah.
It's not perfect, but it knows what it wants to be. There are Breaking Bad references in there, quite clearly and obviously. If we were scoring games, this could be the perfect game. If it wasn't chucking a Breaking Bad reference in, it'd be a 2 out of 10. Because it's there, you've got to do it.
Yeah.
It's like sometimes you play a game, you go, did you really need that reference? This needs to have Breaking Bad references in it.
Yeah.
So, they do there's like a car wash joke in there and stuff like that. But anyway, yeah, just as a management sim type game, business sim, really good. Works really, really well. But having that 2-layered thing going on where you've actually got to produce a successful shop in the front, but also there be a successful drug lord behind the scenes, works in a way that I didn't expect it to work. I thought they'd fight with each other too much and just be a bit, but no, it works so well. And yeah, you can choose which sort of drugs you want to sell. But you've got to then sort of when you set your business up at the front, you've got to make sure your business workers get all their comforts dealt with as well. So the people who are working selling your foods or whatever, they've got to have a break room and toilets. You've got to keep it clean. You've got to keep the customers happy. All whilst at the back of your shop or whatever you've built, you're selling copious amounts of drugs and there's all kinds of murder going on in the background and everything. And it's brilliant. I love it. It's still only early access and I absolutely love it. And people die. You've got to worry about mortality as well. And yeah, it works.
Wow. God, that sounds really cool. And best title of a game ever, pretty much. So, yeah, that's nice.
It's it's really, really sort of in depth, and it shouldn't be a good game because I've played, I've touched upon, Drug Dealer Simulator, I think it is, and it's this is crap. You're just hoping it'll sell because it's about drugs or whatever.
Edgy, yeah.
No, this nails it. This isn't glorifying the drugs in any way. I'm going, look at us with drugs. It's a fan project almost for Breaking Bad lovers. That's almost what it is.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. And I adore it and I want to keep playing it. But again, it's early access and I hate trying to play early access games all the way through. I need to step back from it, but it's very difficult to. It's good.
Yeah. Ah, brilliant. Excellent. Yeah. Yeah. Sounds really, right up your street.
Yes. And yeah, I am the one who knocks and all that. Mm-hmm. Or something. Whatever.
I am definitely not the one who knocks.
No, yeah, definitely not me. There's our podcast title, by the way. Definitely not a podcast.
Ah, yeah.
There you go.
Nice.
But yeah, no, that's it. It's been a weird old week. Just ignoring the fact that. Oh, actually, before I shut myself up, did you see the massive own goal by East Midlands Trains or whatever it was?
I didn't.
And the Scones.
No.
So, apologies to whatever train companies. It's like East Midlands Railway or something like that, I think. Basically done this big thing. It was really, you said, I was so proud of it. They went, for the King's coronation, not the Queen's coronation. That's what's that? If you breed, that's necromancy.
Yeah, it'd be very stinky. Yeah.
I tell you what, I'd watch some necromancy on TV on Saturday. That'd be fun.
Yeah.
But anyway, where was I going?
East
Train
Midlands
company.
Yeah.
Yes. Brett, thank you. Basically went, if you're travelling down to London, we're giving away a limited selection of scones. The question is, are you jam first or cream first? And they love it, right? They love what they've done, this little promotion thing. The scones are available in limited numbers to certain first-class passengers only. Put it this way. They've kept it up, but they've got rid of any ability to reply to the tweet because it's not gone down well.
Yeah, that is a massive own goal. Definitely not scones. Yeah.
People turning round and going, why can't you just, what about the poor plebs on the normal train who are crammed in, having to stand up or stand next to toilets for 2 hours because you don't maintain things properly? People going, me and my disabled son got on and we couldn't get seats on one of your trains despite booking. I was going, why don't you just feed the homeless instead? Or instead of paying for people to have scones, why don't you stop putting your prices up randomly whenever there's a big event on, etc., etc. It's not gone down well. And then the odd person going, they try and do something nice and people just moan.
I know. There's always one. There's always one who does that, isn't there? Yeah.
Yeah. And there's this one guy, PR and D or something like that, who said, have you got a specific kids carriage? And I was like, that's a bit weird. We're talking about scones. Why do you need to know about a kids carriage?
Yeah. Oh, dear. Yeah. Red flag.
Yeah. Hey, if I'm going to get cancelled in America, I'll go all out and just screw it.
Hey, why not? In America, kids are being made to work now. Have you seen this?
No.
I can't remember which state, but there's a state that's legalised child labour. It might be Indiana, but I might be wrong. So that's fun for the kids.
I mean, are they doing it like, so what we're going to do, obviously we're making it illegal to transition and we're going to force kids to detransition, but because we're America and we don't give free health care, we're going to make the kids go to work to pay for their detransitioning that they don't want. Is that possibly what's happening?
Well, that would be perfect vertical integration, wouldn't it? That'd be yeah, because then you could funnel the money from anything that has to happen back to the capitalists. So yeah, works perfectly.
I tell you what, there you go. If you are Dope Games, also a great name for a developer, by the way, if you're making a drug-based video game. If you're Dope Games, you want to add some DLC, the detransitioning child trafficking work simulator as a third of
child labour simulator. Yeah. Excellent.
Nice anti-trans message and all that with it as well.
Exactly. Yeah, there we go. Giving out free ideas as well as a podcast. Look at that.
Yes. Just to clarify, allegedly on the PR Andy bit, we didn't mention any names, so come at me, bro. And yeah, we just said families. Could be talking about anyone. Also, trans rights are human rights. Secondly, stop using kids as guinea pigs for everything. Thirdly, just be good to each other. And something, capitalism bad, don't sue me, Steph.
Yeah, you'd think that was like fairly basic, be good to each other, but it really isn't, is it? It's like, let's create a group of people who we can legitimately, by the state, the state legitimizes as people you're allowed to be horrible to. It's like, no, that never works. Sorry, that's wrong.
Yeah, we've got black people are out now. Gay people are just out now. They're safe now, so we've got to choose something else. Women, you obviously can't go after women anymore. So we'll pretend that, the trans people are going after women and they are the demons for the next 20, 30 years.
Oh, yeah, but you can legislate over people with uteruses reproductive rights, which basically turns them into household slaves. So there is still that for the capitalists. But yeah, we're not going to fall down that rabbit hole again. I got to vote in the local elections last night, so I voted for extremely left-leaning party. So that made me.
I thought he was going to say I went full BNP.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think that's on the cards, but I feel a little bit better today because I was able to exercise my democratic right. I had to show ID, of course, which is fundamentally undemocratic. But
wrong.
I did it
because of all that voter fraud.
I know.
What was it? 7 counts of possible voter fraud, 0 proven.
Yeah, I know.
And 2 million people now can't vote.
I know, because you have to produce, you have to get a polling card, which you have to apply for. It's all linked to the electoral roll. You have a number that's assigned against your polling card. There's all these things that are already said. Anyway, we all know what the real reason is, but
Yes.
we're going to show.
Now, I'm not going to lie. I currently live in a Tory stronghold. I could commit voter fraud and wouldn't make a blind jot of difference because it's a massive Tory area. And I'm moving out of the area. I didn't vote because, one, I haven't got the right ID. 2, I don't want to be here anymore. And 3, it's the one place I know where I am where my vote actually does not matter.
Yeah.
It's not even close. Vicky Ford for Chelmsford, who wanted to take away kids' meals and stop kids eating, still got in with a massive majority. So there's no point.
Nice. Viva Essex.
So yeah, when I'm back in the Northwest, I'll start voting again. Where my vote probably equally doesn't matter because it's such a Labour stronghold. So but I can vote, and they'll go, well, that's my vote there because that's what I'd vote anyway.
Yeah, and at
the moment, lesser of two evils than that.
Yeah. Excellent. So, on that note...
Oh, shut up now, by the way.
Yeah.
There you go.
Just one quick gaming shout-out before we go. I wanted to mention that I completed Rusted Moss, which I was talking about last week.
Yes.
It gets very much better after the first couple of hours. It's not bad in the first couple of hours, but I was still a bit kind of like, But, especially with the accessibility settings, I played it entirely with cheats basically enabled, because it was just ridiculously hard without them. But the developers had factored that in, and it didn't unbalance the game to the degree where it stopped being fun. So, yeah, Rusted Moss went all the way through it. Really, really good. Got some excellent design that really starts to pay out later on in the game. It's about a 10-hour sort of experience. It really deserves to be on your radar if you like Metroidvanias. But... that's it from us. So, in the meantime, enjoy the King's Coronation weekend if you're in the UK. Even if you're
definitely not being sued.
Yeah, that's it. Well, if we're black-bagged and taken off and shot in the back of the head, you'll know exactly who committed that. But then you'd never hear of it, would you? So, yeah. And in the meantime, enjoy any free time you manage to carve out for yourselves. Use some of it if you can to follow all of our content on all the usual socials. And until next time, stay safe and stay sane.